So I alluded to this in the 7:30 challenge. If you haven't done that, check out that video. I'll put the link in the description. This is kind of a bit of a next step. So in the 7:30 challenge, we focused on the breath, right? Getting present. And we also talked a little bit about getting into the mindset of writing. Writing is a really powerful process. It's a powerful consideration. It combines the mental body, the emotional body, the physical body, and it creates an outcome, right? There's a physical representation on the page with the ink and the shapes and the letters and the words. When people write, they're making a record, right? There's a recording, right? You're recording. So people tend to contemplate and take their time, right? You want to put something on the page that on some level has some value. So you're stacking. I talk a lot about stacking, right? Stacking different techniques, stacking different considerations. Like, what does that mean? Well, instead of just doing one thing, like thinking, right? Contemplating, thinking. I'm not talking about mind chatter and, distraction and noise now. I'm talking about sort of, and less thinking, more imagination. Imagination, where it's really engaging the mental body. When you combine that with feeling, so the emotional body is electromagnetic. The mental body is magnetic. Your thoughts are magnetic. So when you start to combine energies, electricity and magnetism, right, that's stacking. Right now you're starting to put things together and you get a synergy, because the mental body, the thought, the imagination on its own, without feeling and emotion involved, is very limited in power, right? And emotion, if it's not harnessed or marshaled, I like to use the word marshaled, this is like a martial art, right? You're marshaling the underlying energies of this physical reality. Right? Martial arts, as we know them, generally focus on what? The physical, right? Movement. It's fine, it's all well and good, but the underlying energies of the physical are, right, now we're talking about like photons and electromagnetism and things like that underpin this realm, right? Everything is magnetics and frequency and thought forms, right? Everything, that's the basis. So we're talking about marshaling those energies, right? You're an energetic field. You've got multiple energy types, considerations going on in your being, in your body, around your body, in your field, right? But for the most part, our focus is on the outside world. We don't see these things, but they're there, they're real, they're measurable, right? This is getting quantum. This is quantum stuff that we're starting to really wake up to. It's kind of getting ahead of the game, getting ahead of the curve. So, writing, it's marshaling your imagination, right? Your mental body. You should start to involve some feeling, because when you start thinking about what I like, ooh, I like this, I like doing these kinds of things, I like when these kinds of things happen. You start to get some emotional, some feeling starts to amp up a little bit. And now you're getting the feeling and you're getting the thoughts and you're starting to generate that electromagnetic force that is what powers creation. And you're including the physical, because there's the neural pathways connecting the non-physical to the physical, right? Your hand is moving, the pen. Use a pen. Typing on a phone or whatever is not it's not as effective. If that's what you got, use it. But ideally, get a pen, get a pencil, get a writing instrument and use paper and write. Now you're stacking, right? You're stacking, you get synergy. So the mental body plus the emotional body, 1 plus 1, you get 3. That's what synergy is, right? 1 plus 1 equals 3. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts. That's what you want. Right now you start adding the physical, the mental, the emotional, the physical. Right now you start to get, let's use 2. 2 plus 2 plus 2 would give you 6. But if we take 2 and we cube it, 2 cubed, 2 times 2 times 2. So now instead of getting 6, you get 8. So, or you could look at it like 3 squared. That's probably more accurate. 3 squared, right? So 3 times 3. 9. In any event, you're getting more than the sum of the parts. So it gets you present. You get to see on the page, and writing begets more writing generally. Once you start to get a flow. You get a flow and it becomes coherent. You get a coherent flow. So this challenge, the 7-15 challenge, is for 7 days, 15 minutes of writing. Okay, keep it simple. 15 minutes of writing. You sit down, you open your book, you write the date, let's say, just to get started. First few words that come to mind, maybe a couple of words to frame the energy. That's what I like to do. Something like balance, harmony, peacefulness, ease, happy, well-being, right? You can go on and on and on. Openness, allowing, surrender, empowerment, uplifting energy. Like, you can go on and on and on. Write a couple of those, because that will really sort of prime the pump. And then you start writing about things that you like. I like when these kinds of things happen. I like when this kind of thing happens. I like this kind of stuff. I appreciate this. I appreciate that. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. Just write. You'll develop an ability. The more you do it, the easier it gets. Years ago, I started doing this, and it has the effect of marshaling, aligning the different energies of the bodies, gets everything in sync, moving in the same direction. So you're much more focused, easier to focus, easier to identify distraction, easier to identify what is of service to me, what's in my well-being, and what really isn't, right? And you stay on track and you move through your day with more purpose, right? More intuition. The intuition keeps you on track. You start to sense, probably better off going here, probably better off doing this right now. Feels more in alignment to do this and say this in my response to this person. Say it this way, right? And then all of a sudden you got less drama in your life. You got more flow. And you've got more uplifting interaction. You got more things working out. You got more synchronicity, right? It's really powerful when you start writing. And that's, it's a step beyond just breathing. And then there are more steps after that to really start to then compound the effect and add to your arsenal, right? And amp up your ability to marshal your energy. So I started doing this in a really kind of focused way years ago, like more than 15 years ago. And I just found the other day I had like 20 books that, like, I like to use like a journal, like a nice kind of a journal, a nice notebook. Get something that looks nice. I mean, just use what you have to get started, right? And then you look around and find something that has some nice energy, maybe some nice imagery, a nice message. And over time, you become more and more adept. Take your time with it. Write slowly. Right? Don't rush through it. Doesn't have to be a lot of writing, but it gets you to slow down. Take your time. Write neatly. Write nicely. Make this also an exercise in improving your handwriting. Right? People just believe, I don't have good handwriting. I don't have good handwriting. That's all. Slow down. Form the letters nicely. It doesn't take long before you realize, oh, my writing's improved. I've done this with my left hand, my weaker hand. There are times when I would write for weeks using my left hand. At first, it's really hard. After you've done it for a few weeks, muscle memory kicks in, and it starts to look nice. And if I can do that with my left hand, you can do it with your right hand. You start to do these little things where you see progress, right? And you can feel good about yourself. Give yourself permission to feel good about yourself, to be pleased with yourself. Any kind of progress, doing anything a little bit better, feeling good about it. It's getting things moving in the right direction. Because ultimately, anything that you want to manifest or experience in this world, it's because you've got some underlying belief that it's going to make you feel better. There's a feeling that you attach to it, that you are striving for. So anything that can train you into the kind of feelings that you want to be in all the time is helpful. So hopefully if you've looked at the 7:30 challenge and done that, where I talk about getting yourself a writing station, hopefully you've done it. It'd be nice if you've done it. If you haven't, you haven't. That's okay. But set up a little spot at a table, at a desk. Just give yourself a little space where you can envision yourself taking the time to sit and to be and to write. Find the space, put a book there, put a pen there, maybe put a few things around there that are conducive to the energy that you want to have present while you're doing it. Maybe you got some candles or some crystals or some little Buddha statues or something, right? Whatever it is. Set it up. You don't have to start today, but start thinking about the setup. There's no rush. Maybe just take today to imagine where that spot might be. And then later in the day, you might think, oh, I'm going to put this there. I'm going to put that there. Where's a good pen? Nice to have a good pen. You don't want to be getting up, oh, I'm going to go write. Where's my book? I need a pen. I'll just write maybe at the kitchen table today. You can, but that sounds like, you see the energy of being scattered, right? What you really want is alignment. There's no alignment in scattered and scrambling, right? So take your time, line things up, find a nice pen, find a nice notebook, the best you have right now. It's fine. Whatever you have, that's fine. When you're out and about, you're going walking through the dollar store, right? Looking for tape or whatever it is, go look at the notebook section. Or whatever, right? Look at the notebook section. Find yourself a notebook. Buy 2 notebooks. Buy a couple of notebooks. Maybe you want to give one to someone as a gift. There's a conversation. I started writing. Maybe you want to. My kids have notebooks. My kids write. My kids want something. It's not about, can I have this, daddy? Can I have this, daddy? And then it's about, what do you want? Why do you want it? How do you imagine it? Let's write about it. Draw it. Drawing's good. Drawing's fantastic, right? Adds more depth. Pictures worth 1,000 words. Include some drawings with your write. Doesn't matter if you're not a good artist. Doesn't matter, right? The higher mind right? That part of you that coordinates the synchronicity, because it's got that bird's eye view, it understands templates. It's not a judge of artwork. So it can sense very clearly what you are intending in your depiction, right? That's why vision boards are good. We'll talk about that in another video, because we're going to go way beyond vision boards. But anyways, get yourself set up. Pen, notebook, and a spot. All right, and then, when you're ready, set an alarm on your phone, a reminder, sometime in the morning that says writing. That's it. It says writing. Remind you to do writing. Do it right at that moment, or do it soon thereafter, but do it. And if you want, set an alarm on your phone when you start writing for 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Make it as long as you want, but 15 minutes at least. And there's a reason for that. So that's it. Set it up and do it. 7 days. 15 minutes a day. Every day, right? This starts to generate a bit of routine, rhythm, and muscle memory. And that's how we progress, right? We don't progress by doing things once and then again another time. Right? Repetition is important, right? Ask any athlete, ask any musician, right? Anyone who does any kind of performance. Repetition, right? That's how you really anchor it in. Okay. All right, well, enjoy.